Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Paul. And thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh.
Steelers draft choice.
Alongside Tim Benz, he's joining me for tonight's show from Trib Live Media. And we're going to be discussing the Steelers draft. We'll break down the first overall pick, Devin Bush, and, you know, how he feels and how we feel. And maybe you want to call in and how you feel about the rest of the draft. I know we talked a little bit about this on the Showdown coming up tonight at 11:35 on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Also, Bucco Fever is about over here in Pittsburgh. It seems like the Pirates have now lost 8 in a row. And, you know, you're really starting to see of things that they did not address in the offseason. How about depth? How about hitting? 2 areas that they could have upgraded and they didn't. And they lose their 8th straight today. They are now 12-14. The run differential is -21, and they're in the bottom of the majors in a lot of offensive categories, Tim. And this is, I think, the kind of Pirates team that we're going to see average at best, and we're going to see some streaks like this and more losing streaks that I would imagine more winning streaks.
Yeah, and this is something I wrote about in the Trib. And by the way, have you gotten Mark Cabali's shorts trending yet on Twitter?
I tried to. I tweeted it out earlier. His camo shorts are amazing.
Yes, the camo cargo shorts. It's a great look for Mark Cabali. Check out Richie's Twitter if you haven't seen it yet. You will be robbed of not seeing it on actual television, so get to your screens
When
now.
do you start wearing shorts, by the way? I don't even start wearing shorts until, like, towards the end of May.
Well, I'm not even wearing pants right now. So it'll probably, maybe if I walk out of here and walk back to my place, then I'll probably put some on. But to your point about the Pirates, a little bit more importantly than my attire, I think you're right about where the Pirates are finding their level right now. And I wrote about this in the Trib going into the Diamondback series and before the Dodgers series, that for as good as this starting pitching has been, it did go up against San Francisco and Detroit recently, and that's when the conversation peaked about how good the starting pitching has been. Those are teams that are really struggling to score runs right now, like really struggling. Arizona and Los Angeles are 2 of the better offensive teams in the National League, and I think the water started to sink a little bit for the Pirates there when they went up against some good hitting teams.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they could have even been 500 in these last 8 games, but they could have won 2 or 3 of them. But, you know, bad defense, the bullpen hurt them, and no hitting. That cost them 3 games out of these 2 West Coast opponents.
How do you think Josh Bell would do at the NFL Combine as a quarterback? That throwing motion is still, I don't know how often I've talked about a first baseman and his inability to throw as we have with Josh Bell. But what was that? There's like a Tim Tebow jump pass today that went into the outfield, an off the base runner.
I mean, that's Little League right there. I mean, you grew up learning to throw a baseball. I know he was a right fielder and he's still learning this position, but he's a major leaguer. He should be, this is 3 years now at first base. Well, he shouldn't be making error every game.
One thing I've noticed is, and I don't know if this is kind of like a metrics thing or how they're taught, but man, do they go quick when they try to throw the baseball. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of hurried throws. It's not just Bell, other guys in the infield, I feel like that have made errors this year are just trying to release the ball as quickly as possible, and I think at times has resulted in errors.
Yeah, I know. He told me during spring training that they moved him back a little bit. They were trying to change up the way he plays defense. I mean, I thought the one good thing with Josh Bell is he's definitely improved at the plate, and that's what they need from him.
Oh, yeah, his hitting's been really good.
Yeah, and what if they didn't have Melky Cabrera right now?
Melky Cabrera's 4 for 5 today, slugging .506, and he's been a godsend because he's basically done for them what Dickerson did to start here, and they've needed that because Dickerson's been hurt, and I believe it's like you reported that his rehab assignment put on hold. So that's bad news, and they don't have Marte, and clearly some of these issues that they've had offensively would be offset by the fact that they had their actual starting outfield. That would be nice. But bottom line is they just, even if they are 100% healthy, they don't have the offense to make up for a day where their starting pitching has met its match offensively from the other team, like we saw against Arizona.
And we talked a little bit about this on the Showdown coming up tonight on KDKA, but they have to play perfect in order to win. And not too often do teams play perfect. Everyone has to be perfect. Everyone has to hit on every cylinder that they have. And that's just not feasible.
Well, if you mean perfect in the sense that the bullpen can't allow any runs. That's one area that has to be pretty close to perfect.
And this was a bullpen that was ranked third by Major League Baseball, in Major League Baseball.
I mean,
third. And Rich Rodriguez has been a huge disappointment. Keona Kella, big disappointment. There's been a lot of disappointment so far.
And if you notice today against the Dodgers, I certainly saw this. I felt like the Dodgers did a much better job attacking a pitcher when he was throwing up in the zone. Like, there were a few, Cole Tucker, Gregory Polanco in key situations missed high in the zone, whereas I think if you went back and looked at the Rodriguez pitches, there were a couple times he worked up in the zone, and then the Dodgers made him pay for it, and that's part of the reason, part of the ability for them to get some runs across the board late.
All right, we'll continue the Pirates conversation. Also talk about the NFL draft and how you think the Steelers did. They wrapped up the weekend. They made some moves. They cut John Bostic. They brought in the inside linebacker that they need and the inside linebacker that they want. So you can air your opinions tonight on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Give us a call. 575-2600. You can always tweet me, Richie Walsh, back in a couple minutes.
The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting.